Two guys not related, yet somehow are given the same name. It's time for the Two Daves podcast, where we'll answer the age-old question, are two Daves better than one? And now, here's Dave and Dave.
Welcome back to the Two Daves Nation, where we are trying to live out the incredible words of our president for such times that we're living in, Dave. Those words are ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, walla walla bing bang. Hey, I'm Dave.
And I'm the other Dave, the one that did not have a birthday yesterday. And this ain't tacos. Hey, please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Even if you don't listen on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe if you would, please, and click that bell. It will remind you every week when a new Two Daves episode's out. But of course, you can listen to us on all the other podcasting sites, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a long time since we've done this, Dave. My son's computer was down. He was sick.
Well, we had the holidays and everything. Yep. So, yeah.
We're back. I believe this is episode 12 of season 2.
It could be. You may be right.
Yes. Yeah, our fans are clamoring for more.
They are. All 4 of them.
Yes, all 4 of them. Hey, Dave, it's time for the Two Daves fact of the day. And this time our sponsor is New Floor Sandwiches.
I'm excited about this. That's right. Floor sandwiches were developed to stop wasting food unnecessarily. It comes in 3 different sandwiches: smoked white turkey and cheese, roast beef and provolone, and Italian trio with pepperoni, salami, and olive. Floor Sandwiches offers 2 options to each sandwich: a little dirty and a little stepped on. Each sandwich comes half price with an expiration date. Give a day or 2 on either side of freshness. Their slogan is, even though we dropped this sandwich, it's still made with love just for you. So next time you're in that favorite convenience store, just ask for the floor sandwich section and tell them the Two Daves sent you. And now, in case you've forgotten what we're doing, it's time for the Two Daves fact of the day.
That was good, man. You should try doing advertising for companies.
Yeah, I should, shouldn't I?
You should. All right. Hey, here's the Two Daves fact of the day. The average American child eats 1,500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before they graduate from high school.
Huh. Do you believe that?
I know I probably ate 2,500 of them before I graduated.
You like peanut butter and jelly?
I love it.
What's your favorite jelly to go on peanut butter?
Strawberry.
Grape.
That's good. Either way. I can't have them much anymore, but man, they are good.
I'm getting kind of hungry for peanut butter and jelly. I'm going to go make me a sandwich. Can you hang on?
Yeah, go ahead. Are you back?
No,
okay. All right. Okay. Hey, we're getting past the new year.
Yes, we are.
Tonight we're recording. It's January 11th, but this will come out towards the end of January. But, New Year's resolutions. Did you make any this year, Dave?
I do not make New Year's resolutions.
Why not?
Because I don't keep them.
Oh, that's probably a good reason.
Well, I think goal setting is something that everybody should do, but I'm not sure that New Year's is necessarily the time to do that. I think goals should be set periodically throughout the year and for maybe shorter periods of time than a year. I don't know.
Well, it just happens, Dave, that our research team came up with this this article that talks about the stupidity of making New Year's Day resolutions.
That's right. So, they say that the new year may be the worst time to make a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
According to Reuters, people seeking to get or stay fit in 2022 might do better to start today rather than rely on a New Year's resolution to shape up tomorrow, fitness experts say.
Yeah, losing weight and getting fit and healthy are among the top resolutions of people every year.
Top 5 resolutions, right?
Yeah, that's right. And even though most of them don't make it by spring, hey, I belong to Planet Fitness, and it is busy right now.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But when March comes around, it won't be that busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happens.
And maybe I'm stepping on ground we're already going to talk about, but I mean, I need to make some fitness goals, but coming off of the holidays, we still have Christmas candy around.
Yeah,
This is not a good time of year for me to do that. I need to wait until later on in the year.
it's true. Well, I'm glad you said that because this article says the New Year's resolution is a kind of grand, glorified long-term goal that people, for societal reasons, tend to begin on the first day of the calendar year. And according to this psychologist with the American College of Sports Medicine, they said that goals set because people feel they should make them tend to be pressure-filled, unrealistic, and less like to be accomplished.
Yeah. He says, I'd like to cut down on junk food a little bit. That's a goal that's more likely to be accomplished than I'll completely revamp my lifestyle, which really is the kind of goal we set as a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I've had no self-discipline for the last 20 years, but hey, I'm going to revolutionize my life
Yeah.
with
All
one
of a
resolution.
sudden, I'm going to be a new man. I'm going to turn over a
Yeah.
new leaf. Yeah.
Well, okay. Goes on and says, while about 45% of Americans make New Year's resolutions, Dave, how many do you think of those succeed?
Well, just looking at the script, I'd say about 8% succeed.
Very good. Very good. 8%. So, that's not very good.
No, it's not. Have you ever made a New Year's resolution?
I have.
How successful were you?
I maybe made one in all the times I've made a resolution.
You made one
I
throughout
don't-
the entire year?
Yeah, I don't make spiritual resolutions. I don't believe in that. I make just like body resolutions.
Yeah.
So I've stayed with one. But I actually made that probably 2 months prior to that. So
I know what that one was.
yeah,
You said that you would never complain about your wife's cooking again.
that's right. That's
And
right.
you've kept it up. Good for you.
Yes, I have. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. Well, so this anyway, they're talking about how it's just stupid to start a New Year's Day resolution. So
Yeah.
it's kind of why athletes stay in shape year round. They have a program scheduled, planned over an entire year with variation, rest days, more intense days, less intense workout times. It's like a job, there's very little vacation time to that. And I think a lot of people, when they go into like Planet Fitness or something like that, they go in and they're intimidated by everybody doing their stuff
Yeah.
and they're clueless on what to do. I know that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so, it's like this all or nothing mentality, and usually nothing happens.
All right. Well, Dr. Cedric X. Bryant, he's the chief science officer of the American Council on Exercise. He said people who succeed focus on progress, not perfection, and they plan for the inevitable slip up. He says people don't take time to celebrate the little successes because they're so focused on, say, an arbitrary weight goal, they don't notice that they're sleeping better or feeling less anxious. So Church Talk suggests setting goals that don't depend on the calendar to achieve results. And I think that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Dave, I think after we talked about that, it's time that we share some very down-to-earth practical steps that you and I have developed over the years. And it really covers our bases as men of the home in dealing with resolutions that we make in front of our wives and in front of our children, and how to navigate through those disappointing times of failing our resolution time in and time out.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If I'm hearing you correctly,
Yeah.
you're saying that we need to share our secrets with our podcasting family.
That's right. It's time.
It might make us very vulnerable if this incredible piece of advice is made known. Okay. So Are
Yep.
you aware of that?
Yeah. I wrote it down carefully.
All right.
So we
well,
would not,
well, times are
say the
difficult
wrong
right
thing.
now, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and let's help our fellow men out.
Okay, let's do that. First thing
All right.
first. Dave, I know we wrestled with this, but first thing first, in a very casual way, make up a list of things that maybe didn't happen the year before, but it it sounds like it could have happened, but it didn't happen. And you begin to blame other people for the reason why you didn't make that resolution. And, after much personal soul searching, you've decided to revamp them into newer and better resolutions that will impress your wife even more than the year before, and your kids as well, so much so that they'll forget all the disappointments that you brought before them the year before. And like you said, you were going to take them on a trip to Hawaii, which never happened. But, that's something that you can do. Just kind of revitalize that.
We call it the throw everybody under the bus step.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I like that.
Else.
What's your secret?
Well, second, this is very helpful. Transfer last year's resolutions that failed on your wife and kids. Make them feel like you had to make those resolutions to only get them thinking about their need to change instead of your need to change.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's an example. Okay. Honey, I know I said I needed to lose 40 pounds last year, but I've seen how your clothes aren't fitting on you with comfort. And I can feel your frustration and guilt on not saying anything last year to me about them being the ones that about you being the ones that should have lost weight, not you. So on to your kids, you tell them, I told your mom that I was going to save $10,000 to invest it for our retirement. Then just stare at them, shake your head, and say, you kids should be ashamed of yourselves. I've spent that money that I was going to save on things like your school lunches, new clothes, and those braces and contacts that you supposedly needed. Man, how selfish can you be? Oh, let him cry. Let him cry, and never tell your wife about that discussion you had with him. No,
that's good, Dave. This is some good stuff. I think
we're
saving
men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got one more secret. The third step is all about your family putting you on a pedestal as dad and husband, and the pressure that you have as a man to deal with meeting all their expectations of you that come from those new resolutions that you make about weight loss, saving money, taking families on trips, and doing more chores around the house. Mm-hmm. Men, you need to look at them as sad as you can be. If you can cry a little bit, cry just a little bit.
Do it.
And then point at them and say, the pressures of meeting those resolutions for you, they've had their consequences. It's been so intense that I started eating more, spending more on myself to cover up the pain inside. And yes, I even had to go on a trip to Florida by myself just to get away from the pressure of my family. And now I'm way too weak to do laundry or dishes around the house, not to mention all the vacuuming that must be done. Point at the kids and say, you've caused your mom to do more now than the year before. Let that sink in.
That's powerful.
It is.
Well, finally, make at least an attainable goal in front of them. It might seem very difficult, but say this. My goal is to stay the same, so don't ask me to change for you. It's time for you to do all the changing while I sit back this year and just be me.
That's good. Yeah. I like it. Dave, we've done well. And I hope these 4 action steps can put your mind at ease in 2022. Now, Dave, in showbiz, we called what we just did a bit.
A bit,
and Dave, I thought since we were practically in showbiz ourselves with our podcasting endeavors, that we could do one of these at the beginning of this year. So our podcasting listeners, you're welcome.
So basically what you're saying is that was just a bit?
Just a bit.
Oh, okay. Because I actually do these things.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, great. I think what might be a good idea is if you make resolutions, don't share them publicly. I remember one year when I was a teenager, our pastor, we had like a watch night service. For those of you who are under 40, a watch night service is a service that you have at church on New Year's Eve. Yeah. And what would happen was our pastor said, I want you to make a resolution. You write it down on a piece of paper, and then we're going to put it in a sealed envelope, and I'm going to keep it all year long. And I'm going to hand it back to you in a year, and you open it up and see if you kept it. And he did. He remembered the next year to hand them back to us and everything. But we didn't make them public. So that's a cheater's way, because you can basically say, oh, yes, I did grow a year older, just like I said I would. So
Yeah, I bet you attendance was low the next year too.
yeah. Well, hey, folks, tonight we want to talk about a couple of very important topics: mental health and wrapping ourselves around the consequences of our soldiers coming back from war and the struggle to get acclimated back into civilian life.
Yeah, sorry. I have our guest with us tonight, and he was just correcting me on something that I put down that I had wrong. So I need help. I need help. Hey, tonight I'm thankful to have my friend and hero, Rob Shepard, who I also get to be his pastor, which, hey,
I'm sorry, Rob.
yeah, he's got the bad end of the deal,
Talk about PTSD.
But yeah, but Rob served in the Iraqi war, came back to the States with the Purple Heart, and hopefully he will share some of his story with us. But we really wanted to get the word out. Hopefully this will help somebody at least that struggles. I just heard the newest statistic, Dave, that we had more suicides, soldiers that committed suicide or vets that committed suicide in the last quarter. The most has been in the last 40 years.
I have heard that.
And that's not good. Well, hey, let's welcome Rob Shepard to the Two Daves podcast. Welcome, Rob.
Well, hello. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rob, I have a couple of important questions for you.
You bet.
What's your favorite sandwich, and do you make resolutions?
Wow. Those are some tough questions.
Yeah, well, we want to throw some softballs at you first.
That's right.
My favorite sandwich. Probably a club sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
And I do not make New Year's resolutions.
For what reason?
They're too hard to keep.
Yeah, that's right.
Too hard to keep.
See, us
Well,
men
we
gotta
do
stick together.
That's right. Well, Rob, we do want to thank you for serving our nation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself without going into much detail about your service? Who is Rob?
Ooh, who is Rob?
Yeah.
Rob is a very busy guy at the church.
He is.
Rob is a very busy guy at home. I'm the commander of the local VFW here in Marshalltown. Very busy with them.
He's a Nebraska fan.
I am. I'm from Nebraska.
Okay, I'm out of here. We'll talk to you later.
He is a Vikings fan though too.
I am a Vikings fan. I'm a Nebraska fan.
Wow.
UMD
Wow.
hockey. Go Bulldogs.
Wow.
Rob and I had a fun time. I don't know how many years ago it was, 4 years maybe.
Something like that.
We went to the Iowa-Nebraska game.
We did here in Iowa.
And we won. And he lost more than one way. My knee went out and he had to basically carry me all the way down the stairs. It was terrible. Remember that?
It was pretty sad. It was cold. It was so cold. And the boys went to get the car, and it took them like 3 hours to get the car as we wandered around the empty stadium with your knee out.
He has a problem in a stadium. We went one time to a stadium to hear a well-known healing evangelist, and Dave got unhealed while he was there.
My back went out.
Oh, I thought it was your leg. Was it your back?
It was my back.
Wow.
It was my back. Yeah. I think Rob might have said, man, I felt like I went back into the war. He's like, you can't move? I'm like, I can't move, man. It was bad.
It was really bad.
I'll bet you wanted to revert and just say, you know what? We can leave some men behind. This guy stays behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one we can leave behind.
Yeah.
He can last for a few days. He's got enough fat on him.
All those
Anyway,
sandwiches.
Yeah, all the sandwiches.
we digress. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit more about who you are.
Ooh,
You're married.
I am married. I've been
Okay.
married for many years. My wonderful wife Teresa.
How long have you been married?
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Tell
my
her not to
son
listen.
is 27, so 28 years.
28 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Teresa, You should. Teresa and Rob are great people in our church, great friends.
Good.
And we don't live too. We moved into their area, and I think their house was probably a little depreciated now since we moved into the area.
The neighborhood has definitely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Thanks.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, we're in trouble tonight, Dave.
No, you're in trouble tonight.
Yeah, I know. What do you like to do, Rob? What are some things outside of just you serve all the time? We've had him on this, where our church got hit by the derecho, and we got rid of our pews. And guess who sold all the pews for us?
Oh,
Rob.
I've been
Awesome.
selling pews and tables and benches, and they're going to make me sell about 300 chairs soon.
He's a glutton
right.
for punishment, man.
Yeah.
He is.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. It's great. What do you like to do, though? Do you have hobbies that you like?
I do. I'm a huge Nebraska football fan, if we hadn't mentioned that already.
I think
true.
that has come up.
That's true.
I'm just as passionate about my football as you guys are.
Yeah.
And it's good that we can, be good about it and
Yeah.
egg each other on.
Nebraska fans, if that's one thing that can be said about Nebraska fans, they are very passionate about their football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have a good time ribbing one another.
We do.
And that's fun. I think you can do it. There's some people are so passionate they take it personal.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
So
That's true.
we don't.
You got to have fun. It isn't that serious. I mean, get over yourself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have a friend who grew up in Iowa, and his kids gave him an Iowa jersey, and it was a sweatshirt, an Iowa sweatshirt, and he was driving through Lincoln, stopped to get gas,
Oh no.
and he wasn't thinking, he was wearing it, and somebody approached him and said, "I can't believe you would wear that shirt in this town," and he thought he was going to get murdered.
Then they took him out to lunch, right?
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's right.
So, Rob, you are a veteran, and
I am.
And again, I don't think we can say, when we say thank you for serving, that really doesn't say it all. How do you take that? I mean, do you like hearing that, or is it what really means something to you as a serviceman, a vet that sacrificed their life to?
Yeah. Most everybody that has served, they don't like to be thanked because they feel like you're putting them on a pedestal, and most people don't feel that they deserve it. I served my country. I did what my contract said that I had to do, and I'm a regular guy, and don't put me on a pedestal. But it's weird.
I found that to be true. I like to, when I go into a restaurant and I see a serviceman, I like to offer to pay for their meal just as some sort of thanks. I was never able to serve in the military, and I like to do that. And we were at a Panera Bread, and there was a guy in uniform ahead of me in line, and I said, "Sir, I'd just really like to pay for your meal." And he said, "Absolutely not." He was adamant that I not do that, and I think maybe it's because of what you said. He did what he had to do, and wasn't expecting any pedestal about it,
Right.
I think for me, and especially as a pastor in our church, we really take time to honor our veterans. And
You do.
And I think that's more than just saying thank you. It's bringing honor to what you did.
You bet.
And I think that needs to be practiced, continue to be practiced. I see veterans, they wear their hats, they've been in NOM and they've been in all these places. And I really don't say thank you so much as I just honor you for what you did.
That's very nice.
And
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah. Rob made me an honorary, what was that for, Rob? That you guys for VFW, what were we giving away?
Oh, We were doing, was it the poppies?
I don't remember.
The buddy poppies?
Flags.
Flag Day.
Yeah, that's right.
July 4th.
Can I tell Dave what happened on that?
Well, we seem to be running out of veterans to stand at the stores and distribute, buddy poppies, flags. And we do all that each year as a fundraiser. And the money that we make off of that, it goes to helping local veterans in need. All of that money goes to that. And we're running out of guys. They're dying. World War II guys, Korean guys, and now a lot of our Vietnam guys are starting to die. And I had to come to my church and ask for help. Who could I get to stand out in front of Hy-Vee and hand out flags? And Pastor Dave stepped up to the plate.
Did we get anybody else from the church that did that?
Pastor Curtis stepped up to the plate.
Did Bob? He's already a serviceman, right?
Bob is a serviceman.
Yeah. Duh. It was, you know what? I felt.
Tell him about it, what you did.
Well, so I stood out in front, where Hy-Vee is, Dave, in town we live. I stood at one of the doors and Rob's wife stood at the other one. So we were like in competition, it was kind of fun, but I felt an overwhelming just sense of, how can I say it?
Well, did you feel like you were a fraud?
No, I let people know.
Okay. I
did not serve, but I'm standing in the gap for those that cannot stand here. And but I felt an overwhelming pride to be able to help, to be able to help in that way.
Give back.
Yeah, to give back. And it was a good, and you know what I found out? It must be what you guys hear all the time. You find out that people had aunts and uncles that served and brothers and sisters that served and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I heard so many stories during the 2 hours. The 2 hours went by like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, really a cool thing to be able to be part of something like that, to hear the stories. So I hope I get the opportunity to do that again, because it's a privilege to be able to do that.
You're in luck. We're going to be doing it in 2022.
All right.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
You are signed up.
Sign me up.
Thank you.
I'm ready.
We appreciate it.
You talking about, and we'll go into some more about going into war and stuff, but VFW is just for those that were in war, correct?
It is the veterans of foreign wars.
Okay.
So it is for those who have served in a foreign war.
Mm-hmm.
Just what it says, VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
What are the other areas that veterans can be part of that maybe weren't in war?
The American Legion, the AMVETS, Purple Heart. There's all kinds of different groups.
Okay. Dave, was your dad in he served, didn't he?
My dad served. He got in right after peace was declared in the Second World War. So he served. He went over to Germany in 1945, right after the war was over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're losing all them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it that, are we having a hard time with getting younger veterans to be part of these groups?
We are. We have literally no veterans from the Iraq War. I think I'm the only one. There's hundreds and hundreds of them out there. And I don't know why they don't want to join the VFW and be part of the group. It's hard to figure out.
What do you go through to try and recruit?
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're not working hard enough as far as recruitment, but it's mostly just word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you serve? Would you like to join the VFW?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us about your journey into the service. Why did you decide to serve, and what you did while you were in the service?
Well, I had a friend in high school that decided that he wanted to go into the Marine Corps, and I did not have a plan ahead of me. So I said, that sounds interesting. It sounds like it would be a lot of fun. To me, I joined the Marines because I wanted to join the best. So we went in on the buddy plan. There was a thing called the buddy plan back at the time. And you would go in together and you would go to boot camp together and you would go to training together. And then, probably would go to separate duty stations after that. But my buddy didn't even make it to boot camp. So I went all by myself.
What happened to him?
He had bad knees.
Oh, oh
So
no.
it's not like you made a resolution. Hey, this year I'm going to go into the military. I don't have a
Exactly.
plan, and that's yeah. So you found yourself going in without your buddy.
I went in alone. Yeah. I went to San Diego for boot camp. It was my very first plane ride. I'd never been on a plane. I went to the MEP station in Omaha, and the Marines gladly signed me up and sent me to boot camp in San Diego. And that was
What
3
year was
months
this?
of a lot of fun.
What year was this?
1985.
1985. Okay.
1985.
I graduated that year.
I did too.
Yeah, you did. That's right. So, I mean, can you kind of tell us has that process changed over the years?
No,
It's the same.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same today as it was then.
So 9 weeks of basic training,
13 weeks.
13 weeks,
Mhm.
and pretty intense.
Very intense.
And do you learn to say yes, sir, no, sir at
Yeah.
those things, or
You learn to say, sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
what was the biggest shock to you going into something like that?
Well, I mean, they tear you down to nothing and they build you back up the way they want you to be built up. So, has anybody seen the movie Full Metal Jacket?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Have you seen it?
Yep.
That is 99.9% realistic on what it's like.
Really.
That's very, very accurate.
Wasn't the drill sergeant in that? He was a drill sergeant. right?
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah.
Arlie
he was
Ermy.
a-
Yep.
He was a real
Yeah.
drill sergeant. That's why he was so
he was
good
amazing
in
in
that movie.
that movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the stuff they did in the movie. They did to us too, and it.
Yeah.
You didn't laugh then, but later on watching the movie, you laugh, but not at the time. You don't laugh. It's very serious.
Did you have people that didn't take it serious?
No, everybody took it serious.
They did.
Yes, because you were scared to death.
I suppose if they didn't take it seriously, they would have been out, right?
You bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
We were so scared that we did exactly what they said as fast as we could do it.
85. There's no war.
No,
There's nothing
No.
going on. So you're going in maybe thinking
Peacetime.
It's peacetime. I'm gonna be good.
I'm going to be good. And my plan initially was to become an MP. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
That's not what happened.
Okay.
Every Marine is a rifleman first. So my job was a machine gunner. I was a M60 machine gunner.
On a Jeep type thing?
No. You carried it. You carried it around. You walked
Wow.
and you carried it. Yeah.
Had you shot a gun before?
I had not shot a gun before.
So you go from not shooting a gun to shooting a machine gun.
You bet. That's exciting.
Was it exciting?
It was very exciting.
And you're shooting blanks?
No, you're shooting live rounds. You go to fields where they have things out in the field and you're shooting live rounds at them, not people, but I mean like
Yeah.
old Jeeps and
Right.
buses and
Fun.
stuff like that. And you get to light it up and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Are there ever those times where you got guys that are maybe not knowing what they're doing and it becomes a dangerous situation, and then there's the sergeant, he's like,
Yes. Yes, that happens all the time.
and thank goodness for that.
Yes. Right. Yeah, you don't point a weapon at somebody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they do it.
So 85, you're not married.
No,
or
I
you-
just came out of high school.
yeah. Okay.
I was not married.
So your plans, you
Were
don't have a girlfriend.
Were you
or
married in high
nothing?
school?
No. Feels like I was married in high school, but no. I'm
Girls
just
wouldn't have-
kidding. I'm just
Girls
kidding.
wouldn't have anything to do with him in high school.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm sorry. Go on.
No. So, you don't have a girlfriend or nothing. There's no plans there for
Right.
So you're going in and you sign up just for what, 4 years?
4 years.
And I say just what, 4 years? I mean, 4 years.
Just 4 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a very long time.
Okay. So 4 years. What in the war? Well, the stuff starts heating up in Iraq.
The Gulf War
Yeah.
happened in
91.
91?
91. Yeah. January
91.
16th, 1991.
And I just got out. I got out in the end of 89. So that was my very first year out of the Marine Corps. And next thing you know, the Gulf War is going on. And I just missed it by that much.
Now, what was your feeling about that? Were you glad you missed it, or were you like going, oh man?
A little bit of both. I was a little bit glad that I'd missed it, but I was also felt cheated, that I didn't get my chance to do what I was
What you were trained to do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have some guys, I think I hear at the church, and great guys served. They just didn't serve in war.
Yes.
And so it's almost like, Dave, you've probably heard this as well, but it's kind of like, well, I didn't serve in war. But that's a big thing anyway. If you don't serve in war, you're still giving up your time.
Oh yeah. You're married to the military.
So is there a little bit in you that's like, I would like to go to war?
You bet. It's
which you've never been to war. You don't know what it's like.
Right.
But you're prepared for it in a sense.
We've all seen the movies, and
yeah,
it's not really like that. It's very scary. It's very I don't know what the word is. Help me out.
Is it just, tense all the time?
Very
right?
tense. Yeah, very tense. Yeah, very tense. You're on alert all the time.
A thriller movie all the time.
It's like a thriller movie all the time.
Yeah.
You can never let your guard down.
Okay, so you come out in 89, you're done at the end of 89, you're done serving basically.
I joined the National Guard.
There's your tie-in to going to war then.
Yes, there's my tie-in. So I joined the National Guard and plan on doing 16 more years to get my total 20 years so I can get my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined the National Guard, and I'm in the Maine National Guard in the state of Maine, and I'm in the Nebraska National Guard, and I'm back in the Maine National Guard again because I'm moving back and forth. And the next thing you know, it's 2004, and the Gulf War kicks up and gets going, and we have orders to go to war. The 133rd Engineer Battalion, we all got orders to go to war.
So how many years had you been in? Had you served between that and National Guard up to that point?
17 years. I was at the very end of my 20 years.
Really?
Wow.
So I wasn't the young Marine anymore. Now I'm the middle-aged, almost out of the service guy going to war.
What was your feeling
big
about
difference.
that? What was your feeling about that?
Well, I was glad to be able to fulfill my obligation, since I kind of missed out on it being a Marine. Now I get to do it in the National Guard. So it was almost as good.
Don't you feel like there's more at stake now? Because now you're married.
Now I'm married and I have a son. Yeah.
There's a little bit more on the line now.
There's a heck of a lot more on the line now. You bet.
But yet that something inside of you as a soldier that's prepared in you for all those years. And
yes,
would you say being a soldier there's a calling also there to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
Okay.
Now, Dave said you got a Purple Heart while you were there. What did you do to get the Purple Heart?
Well, we got shelled, mortar attacks and RPG fire just about daily. And one day I was going to the dining hall to go to lunch, and they started raining shells in on us. And one landed probably, I don't know, maybe 20 feet away from me. And the next thing you know, I'm, laying on my back from the shock, the wave and the concussion. And I get up and I'm, I check myself out, and I had a couple holes here and there, little holes and I'm bleeding. So they rushed me down to the medics and checked me out, and thank God I was all right. They were just superficial wounds.
The shock wave, do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So what's that feel like?
Oh my gosh, it's so disorienting. I mean, it's almost like you're blacked out for a few seconds, and you're disoriented, and you don't know what's going on. You can't hear. You got ringing in your ears, and you got dust in your eyes, and it's just crazy. You don't know if you're hurt or you're not hurt, if your buddy's hurt or not hurt. So it's just crazy.
Do you remember that shelling, Dave?
Do I remember it?
Do you remember that incident that happened at all? Reading about it?
No, that was something different.
Oh, that was something different. Okay. Well, you were shelled. Who shelled you then? It was
the insurgents.
Were they closer than what you thought they were, or what?
They were right off the base. Yeah. I mean, they would drive around in these little trucks and find a spot, and they would set up their mortar and poop, 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 launch a few rounds, and they'd take off and they'd be gone. And as the things were impacting on the base, they're already gone and moving off to another spot.
So that particular incident, did anybody die in that one?
The one where I got hurt?
Yeah.
No. There were several people that were wounded. Several people got Purple Hearts, but nobody was killed.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Yeah. For sure. So you're there, you experience that, but then you also experience not getting hit, but you experience another incident. And do you want to share that with us?
We had many incidents.
Okay.
But the big one that I think you want to hear about is the dining hall bombing.
There we go. Yeah.
It was in December of 2004. And their main goal was the insurgents. Their main goal was to try to knock out the dining hall, because we were there breakfast, lunch, and supper, and that's when a majority of the guys were there eating. So if you're going to hit anywhere, that's the spot to hit, the dining hall.
How many soldiers are there at that time? Oh
my gosh, hundreds at one time. And what happened on that particular day was, they had tried to mortar the dining hall over and over and over, and they were not successful. They couldn't get the shells in close enough. So what they did was they had a suicide bomber attack. Ugh. And they had a guy, one of the Iraqi guys on our side, supposedly, went in to eat. They had an Iraqi National Guard that trained on the base that we were at.
Okay.
And so
you trained them?
Yes, we trained them. Mm-hmm. One day, a guy goes in to eat lunch and had the full bombing vest on and just lit himself off and blew the whole dining facility up.
So how many people died that day, you said?
72 were injured and 22 were killed that day. And it was the biggest attack since Beirut, the Marine barracks in Beirut back in the 80s, early 80s.
Are you looking that up, Dave?
No.
Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
Yeah, that was big.
It made the national news.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was. I just don't remember it.
Right. There were so many.
When was that again? What was the date?
It was December of 2004.
Okay.
It's the Camp Merez dining hall explosion.
Because so you said many incidents happened while you were there.
Every day. I mean,
that we never heard about.
That you never heard about. Exactly.
The same kind of thing, shelling.
Every day.
Shooting.
Yes.
And what were the things that they planted in the ground and trucks would go over them? And
IEDs.
Okay.
Improvised explosive devices. Okay. Yes. Those were planted on our we did a lot of convoys through the city
Mhm.
and they would plant the IEDs on the routes that we would take, and hopes that they could hit a convoy as it was going through. And that happened all the time in the Iraq War.
Because we
Huh.
heard of that
Right.
happening a lot.
You had more guys getting their legs and arms blown off from IEDs than
Yeah.
anything.
So you had friends die in this?
Yes. Yeah. We had guys from our unit that died in the dining hall explosion. Yeah.
How old are you at this time then?
I was 36, I think.
Was that the first time you experienced friends dying in the war?
That was the first time. Yes.
When you would wake up in the morning, did you ever wrestle with the fact that this could be the day that you will go into eternity?
Every day.
Every day.
Every single day. You bet.
Were you Christian back then?
Yes.
So
I was a brand new Christian.
right. You had to rely on, and thank goodness you had that. Thank God you had somebody probably giving you the word. You had a Bible.
I had a little pocket Bible. We had a chapel. We had services every week. We had Bible study also during the week, and I went to all that stuff while I was over there.
I wonder if people draw closer to God during those kind of times.
I think they do. I
Mhm.
really do.
So, Rob's happy-go-lucky all the time. Rob's fun to be around. But I know that, like if you've not been in his shoes, don't know his story and all that kind of stuff. So, a lot happens in war. I don't know. I'm sure your wife knows a lot of the stuff that happened.
She found out about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't tell her about most of it as it was happening because it would just be too much stress.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want her to know that
Exactly.
while you're over there. Yeah.
Right. So I would send home, we were still using cameras at the time, and I would send home rolls of film. And I was always taking pictures everywhere over there. And she would get to develop these rolls of film and see these pictures. And she never knew what she was going to see on the pictures. So the ones that were bad, I sent to a friend and had him develop them and hold on to them till I got home. I didn't want her to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so your time's up. You spent a year there?
We were there for a little bit over a year. It was about 14 months.
You never came home?
I did not. I chose to stay there the whole time. I used my leave at the end of our active duty. So it was, 2 weeks with pay at home afterwards.
Did you miss anything? Did you not have time to really think about that stuff?
Going home?
That and just some of the stuff of being in America, going down to McDonald's, doing did you miss?
Oh, of course.
Stuff like that.
We missed all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And you had a place where you could bowl and different things like that at one time, didn't you?
On our base?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have a bowling alley.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dave, are you making stuff up?
No, because I have some friends. No, I have some friends from Hays, Kansas, that they told me they had a portable bowling alley.
They may have been in Kuwait or something like that. Where they had a bigger base or
Qatar or whatever that.
Yeah, and they had more.
Okay.
More freedom to do stuff like that. We were on a forward operating base. We were in the heart of it.
You were actually in the nation of Iraq.
Oh yeah, we were in the city of Mosul in northern Iraq.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Were you able to interact with a lot of the people who live there?
Good question.
No.
Okay.
Not the Iraqi people. The ones that were on the base, yes. The people that worked on the base, yes. The Iraqi National Guard soldiers that were there with us, yes. But most of the work that we actually did was up in Kurdistan,
Okay.
which was about 3 hours north of where we were stationed. And we would convoy up to Kurdistan,
Wow.
and we'd get a little bit of time off up there to see the sights. Not, I mean,
Right.
you've got your full battle gear on, you got your
Right.
weapon and everything, but you could go downtown, these little towns, and interact with the people and have something to eat. And we did do that in Kurdistan. The Kurdish people were very, very pro-American, very friendly, and were happy to have us there.
Huh.
Well, they're the ones that fought against. I mean, they were the ones that did not like Saddam and
Correct.
all that stuff.
Correct.
Right?
Saddam gassed the Kurds. You remember that?
Yes.
Way back.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, he killed thousands, if not millions. Did he not?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Maybe you could tell us, because I'm sure that time kind of erases memories. What were we doing there? What was the cause of the Iraq War?
9/11 happened,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the terrorist attacks here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, we're at war with these terrorist organizations that were in Iraq, Syria, Iran, Afghanistan. So we were in Iraq and Afghanistan at the same time, two different battle areas fighting these insurgents.
Is that where there was only like a group of like 13, 15 guys went in, and they had to make a pact with some of these guys from Afghanistan to kind of start making their way in? And
I'm not aware of that story. No.
there was a movie. Hollywood made a movie. It's based on
Dave's
wait a
laughing.
second.
Yeah.
It was based on a true thing where there's like 13, 15 of them.
You talking about the Benghazi thing?
Maybe that was it. Is that where
That's probably what you're talking about. 13 hours.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
That was Benghazi. That was an embassy.
When you were
Okay.
when you were injured and they worked on you, was the doctor's name Hawkeye?
Ours was Major Nelson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, take that.
True, seriously, his name was Major Nelson.
Major Nelson.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, he was kind of a character, kind of like them on MASH.
Did you ever have like president or vice president or people from America come over to
A
kinda
mucky muck?
encourage you? Is that what it's called?
A big mucky muck.
Yeah.
We had our senator from the state of Maine came over and visited us while we were over there, Senator Collins.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was pro Senator Collins at the time. Unfortunately, she's changed since then, and I would not
She's-
support her now. But
She's what they call a rhino, right?
that's right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That was dangerous for them to come in at that time, wasn't it?
Yes and no. I mean, they stayed on the bigger bases, and it was pretty secure. And
You had the airport, right?
we had the airports.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that dangerous.
How do you think the Kurds think about us now?
Well, I would hope that they have good memories of us being there. We built roads for them. We built little clinics, hospital-like clinics for them. We built schools for them. We put culverts in their roads. I mean, we did a lot of different good things for them in Kurdistan.
Right.
And I hope that all that's still there, today. And all those kids, the kids were always hanging around us, wanting to greet us, say hi, put their arm around us. And all those kids now are in their 20s, if
Wow.
they're still alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really weird to think about.
I'll bet. Well, were your wife and son notified when you were injured?
No,
They were
No,
not notified,
that-
really.
no, that was kind of a hush hush thing.
Really?
Yes.
Hush hush on whose decision was it that it was hush hush?
Our end for security reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did they find out? When you got home?
No, it would have been days later
Okay.
when we made a phone call home or something, but when,
So
when
you
an
were able.
incident happened over there, we were not allowed to use the phones or internet or anything because we didn't want to give that intel
Sure.
to the terrorists so they knew, what they had done to us. So that's why it was kept quiet.
I see. Okay.
How,
So
how
when were you given the Purple Heart?
I was given the Purple Heart while I was over there. It was probably, I don't know, maybe the next month after the incident. And
Who
just
presented it to you?
a little ceremony and with the company. And I think it was, tell you the truth, I can't even remember who gave it to me. That's
Okay.
sad.
Okay.
I think it was just one of the majors
Sure.
or something of the unit.
is it in a little box? Is what it's in?
Yep, it's in a little box. They pin it on your chest and they give you a little citation, and it's very nice. It's
Yes.
a lot of guys earn those by dying. So
Yeah.
I mean, to be wounded and to get a Purple Heart and to still be alive and to not even be life-threatening wounds was only by the grace of God.
Yeah. Well,
So-
tell us. Let's kind of jump ahead now to your home. Tell us about what PTSD is and how does it work on a person and why does it happen?
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. And I would say pretty much everybody that comes home, I think, has some sort of a form of PTSD. I think
Okay.
the ones that have it more severe were the ones that were in firefights and bombings and things like that. I still suffer from PTSD today, and I have therapy every week with a counselor here at the Marshalltown VA. So
The counselor is somebody who's trained to deal with PTSD.
yes, yeah,
Well, I can imagine you're coming under shelling every day, every morning. You have to come to grips with your own mortality.
yes.
That you don't leave that behind when you come home.
No, you don't. It's always with you, and unfortunately, my wife gets the brunt of it during the night when I'm having night terrors and I'm kicking and flailing around in bed, and I've scared her several times
Sure.
because of things like that.
So you go back in time, basically.
You do, yeah. You go back to those situations and you're fighting them all over again in your dreams.
You wake up sweating and stuff. You said
You wake up sweating and disoriented and heart pounding, and
Is
yeah.
it real? Does it feel real?
Oh, it feels real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So, do you know? I mean, when you came back, did you know that's what you had?
No, not at first.
So it develops after, or
They start giving you literature about PTSD and stuff, and they talk about it, and I think you kind of figure out that, wow, I think I might have this.
You talk about night terrors. Is there anything that happens while you're awake that is a symptom of PTSD?
You bet. You'll notice most people that were in a war zone, you'll notice they don't want to be around crowds. They don't want to go out to the mall. They keep to themselves. They stay home where it's safe. They don't want to go to events. But if they do, say, go to the store or something, you're on alert. You're always looking around, worried that something's going to happen to you. You're on high alert.
Yeah.
Are you on that when you like? I mean, because you go to events, you go to concerts and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tough for you to enjoy?
It is. You change after being in a war. Everything that you used to do, you're doing it now, and you've got that in the back of your mind. It's completely changes who you are.
See, there's got to be a disconnect because between my life and your life, in the sense of I've not been to war. I've not had that experience. Now, I've been shot at while fishing. I was with a Vietnam guy. We were up in Cedar Falls, and we just happened to get into this. We were fishing in this little pond off of the river, and we just happened to be in this drug deal that was going on. And all of a sudden, they started shooting at us. And we were on this thing. Yeah, the Vietnam, my friend, we still talk about it. And he's like, get down, crawl, do all this. I'm like, it was intense.
You had a taste of it.
Well, we were going through, I don't want to say I had taste, but I mean, it was intense. We're running through the cornfields looking at like, what's going on here?
Wow.
And
I've never heard this story.
Yeah, I'll have to share with you sometime. Yeah, it was crazy. My wife knows all about it. And we finally end up running about half a mile, end up in the farmer's house and get help. And but
well,
you don't have that feeling though. You don't have that feeling like you know, you're always on alert. You've got, we don't get that.
Yeah.
Well, can I just share? I've never told this before.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I've never told this before, but I've been in church board meetings. Okay, I'm done. I'm just.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Thanks, Dave. Hey, Rob can help you anytime. So,
okay.
But, I'm just thinking, PTSD, it's like it's been named for how long?
It's been around forever. They used to call it shell shock.
Yes.
Okay.
Back in World War I, World War II, they called it shell shock.
Shell shock.
And I don't think they treated it very serious back then.
Well, I think that then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe then it was looked at as a weakness. Men would come home from the war, they'd be shell shocked. It was looked at as a weakness. And it was portrayed in the movies of that time as a weakness.
And they kept it to themselves. They didn't talk about it.
And probably, as you were saying,
ask for help.
Probably a great majority of the men who came back had it, but they were too ashamed to talk about it.
Yes.
Rob knows this. In Marshalltown, we have the Iowa Veterans Home. And when I grew up, it was very patriotic. I love being patriotic. And it used to be at the Veterans Home, and the band would come in, play, and in the evening, July 4th, they would shoot the fireworks off.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I loved it. Now again, this is the disconnect, okay?
Right.
When they moved it from there out to the college, most of the people who have been around town for a long time were so upset because that was not patriotic out there. At the same time, we didn't know what was going on to the vets there.
You were freaking them out.
Yeah.
They're hearing explosions, and it's taking them right back to war again.
Well, back then it would have been World War II,
Yeah.
And Korean, all that kind of stuff. And
Vietnam.
because that was, that's going back 40 years plus.
Right. Nobody thought about that part of it.
No. And I don't know. Do people think about that July 4th? I mean, around here, July 4th starts on June 25th and goes until July 10th, probably.
If you're asking me, I think my answer would be no. That people don't think about the veteran.
Yeah.
I don't go to the 4th of July fireworks anymore. The smells, the sounds, the explosions, it's just too much.
Yeah. So you came home.
Wait a second, Dave, before you ask this, because I have to ask this question here. So we think that July 4th parades and all this kind of is patriotic. It's how dare they move it from whatever? And if you don't celebrate, you're not patriotic.
Right.
But there you are, along with how many other people are the same. I just can't handle the smells, the sounds, and the crowds.
Yeah.
And the hamburgers.
So you just kind of hunker down in your house.
Stay home.
Yeah.
You bet.
So, but when you're outside and all of a sudden these people are shooting the fireworks off, you
find yourself jumping to the ground and ducking for cover? And I'm serious. I'm
Wow.
not joking about it. You do.
Wow. I just don't, you don't think about that. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Dave.
Yeah, you don't. You came home in 2005, is that correct?
Yes.
2005. So it's been 17 years, 16, 17 years.
And 17 years already.
Do
Wow.
you are you better?
No,
Really?
no, I'm not better.
Do you?
Okay.
is
I'm
there
working
such-
on it.
But do you ever? What's their hope for you in PTSD? Is there a point to where you can manage stuff better? It just doesn't go away.
It does not go away. What you said, manage. They treat you, they teach you how to look at it, think about it differently. That's kind of what I'm doing right now every week is they're teaching me to look at it in a different perspective.
So you can process it.
So I can process it. So I can go to Walmart with my wife and go shopping and not be thinking that I'm going to get bombed or sniped or I don't know. It's strange.
So how's your relationship with your wife changed over the years? Is there a greater understanding on her part? And does she still know there's just times that Rob's having his moments that there's really nothing I can do, but I can pray and maybe I can help calm down the situation? I mean, maybe that's
Exactly.
too personal. but-
Exactly. No, you hit it right on.
So she's now you had dogs. You have dogs.
I have a dog.
And you've had a dog ever since you've been back from war.
Yes.
Comfort. Yes.
Dogs
No?
are very comforting. You bet.
Did you get a dog for that purpose?
I did not get a service dog. I am qualified for a service dog if I choose to get one, but I have not as of yet got a service dog. But we have a family pet.
But Chester was pretty good to you, right?
Yeah, the family pet serves just like a service dog.
Well, how
The only
does-
difference is you can't take them in the store with you.
Okay. Tell
know?
me what is the purpose of a service dog? How would a service dog help a victim of PTSD?
Service dogs, I can't explain it too much, but you've got the dog with you. You hold it close and it knows that you're feeling bad and it
Okay.
just wants to give you love and let you know that you're okay.
Okay. Okay.
It's a comfort.
Yeah.
It's like a dog that is probably with somebody that's
They're
getting ready to have a
trained.
seizure.
Yeah, they're trained to do it.
Yeah, to bring some kind of maybe to put the to lower the level of intensity,
Anxiety.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, over the last few years, dogs, especially dogs, but even cats, believe it or not, have been known to be great therapeutic tools.
You
for
bet.
people.
I think they are
Mm-hmm.
in their
Can
own.
I can I plug an organization? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
sure.
Puppy Jake in Des Moines. They give service dogs to service members who qualify that need a service dog.
And it takes a while to qualify a dog.
Yes, it does. It takes months.
Yeah. So when you get a dog, there's been lots of time, lots of investment. I mean, a lot of sweat and
You bet.
has gone into the development of that dog to,
Yes.
yeah.
A lot of time, a lot of training, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your wife and you're just working through this together through the years then.
Exactly. Yeah. She didn't go to war with me, but I brought the war home with me, and she has experienced the war through me,
Like it or not.
like it or not.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably something that she was not anticipating before you came home.
Right.
I'm not trying to make the analogy here that this is the same, but it's like Dave and I going into ministry. Our wives were not like called to be pastors, but when they married us, they took on that calling.
Right.
like it or not.
The good, the bad,
And-
and the ugly.
Yeah. And
Good movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you find out how important your spouse is, really
Yes.
way more than what you probably even give them credit
You
for.
bet.
And when they say they're the better half, they really are the better.
They really
half.
are the better half. Yes.
I don't know if you've read the book American Sniper or seen the movie.
I have.
You have. Can you remember the name of the who it was about?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the guy, I saw that.
Yeah.
Was his name Kyle something?
Kyle. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I think it was a pretty good description, a pretty good depiction of PTSD, don't you?
You bet.
Where he had to deal with it, and then he was helping another veteran who had it, who wound up taking Kyle's life.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's tragic.
Yeah. Terrible thing.
Unbelievable. I could never imagine doing that to a fellow veteran. But
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that now. Now we have a problem with homeless veterans,
we do.
suicide.
We do.
They've just, I mean, it is an epidemic. What's going on?
Yes.
How much of PTSD is part of their journey into that? And what are some other factors you think that maybe we don't see that causes them to lead to this lifestyle? Because I know you've tried to help people, but fellow veterans that have gone through stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a very tough question you're asking me, because I'm not a counselor. I'm not trained to help out other vets, but
Can you understand? You understand why they would do something like that?
yes and no.
Okay,
I got to get
because you're a fighter, you wouldn't do that.
right. Exactly. Some take a blame. They take it personal, that it was their fault that something happened. I could have prevented something from happening, but I didn't. Therefore, these people are now dead, and it's all my fault. They take it home with them. They lose their jobs. They lose their marriage. They're homeless. They're living in a tent.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all over the place out there. People need to help them.
Do many of them want help, you think, or are they just gotten to the point of where they don't want any help?
I think it's probably 50-50. Half of them are probably crying for help, and half of them have given up.
I think it's so easy. You're in your car, drive right past people like
you
that.
see them on
you
the
go,
corners, yeah.
Yeah.
Homeless veteran, please help, God bless. And
Yeah.
you don't know if they're telling the truth or not.
Right.
Maybe,
Yeah.
and they may not be. That's a tough call.
Yeah. They're down there in Wichita, Dave. If you remember, went to district council, there'd be by Bethel Church there'd be bridges and little areas, and they'd be out in that area living there.
Little tent
Yeah.
cities.
Most of them were pastors.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. This is why we get nowhere. You know?
That was good.
So 17 years ago, if you could have a redo, would you go back and do it again?
100%. Not even a thought.
Huh.
And that's why
That's me.
I have a feeling a high percentage of our soldiers.
I would think so. I would think a very high percentage would do it again.
Okay.
Do you remember what was the movie that came out, Saving Private Ryan?
Very realistic.
Did you go to that?
Oh, yes.
Were you there when World War II vets were going to that movie?
Not that I noticed, but
Do you remember that, Dave, when that movie came out?
Mm-hmm. Sure do. 1998.
And they had men coming out of movie theaters, wheelchairs and whatever else, weeping like a baby.
I can imagine.
And I remember several interviews of people talking to them, and when they got their everything together, that was one of the questions. If you knew, would you go back and do it again?
They all said yes, didn't they?
They all said, you know it.
The greatest generation.
Now, my dad had a little bit different take on that movie.
Did he?
Not about the realistic battle scenes, but about the way they treated Captain Miller. They were pretty disrespectful to him, and he said, "You did not treat your superior officer that way. You did not disagree. You did not. You did not. What am I trying to say? You did not try to bunk your commanding officer. That was just not done at all." And so he said that was a pretty inaccurate depiction.
A lot of movies that Hollywood makes have some truth to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some truth.
Some truth.
Yeah.
Are there any movies that you've seen, war movies that you've seen that are like, this is trash? This is probably not even.
I'd have to think about it. I don't know.
Do you remember?
I remember back in 1986, the movie Platoon came out, and it was supposedly an accurate depiction of Vietnam. My uncle was in Vietnam. He said, not even close.
Really?
Yeah. He said it's a politicized movie, and he says it's not what we were doing in Vietnam. So that was just his take on it, at least.
Right.
What was the one? Robin Williams did one. It was called Good Morning Vietnam.
Good Morning Vietnam.
You remember that movie?
That was a real thing.
Yeah, that was
a real guy that did that.
That was
Adrian Cronin.
And the things around it happened that was pretty close to it.
Right.
That was a sad movie. That was sad.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, especially when he went, "Good Morning Vietnam."
Yeah. What do you think of? What do you think of like the old John Wayne movies?
Sands of Iwo Jima.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. What do you think of those?
I think they're great.
Yeah.
Very good. They make you feel patriotic.
Do you I know we're coming down to a close here, but do you ever go to museums, war museums?
Yes, I do.
Is that something that you're fascinated with?
Yes. There's one at Camp Dodge here in Iowa that has a great museum. And another one that I went to was the Marine Corps Museum out in Virginia. Awesome museum. Very, very interesting.
Have you kept any of your stuff from the Marines?
Yes.
Yep. Where in Virginia is this museum that you speak?
It's near Quantico.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting to see.
Right down the road from the FBI place there.
Okay.
Now, Dave is a big time presidential buff guy.
Really?
He likes presidential stuff. And so, do you know any presidents that were Marines?
No president was in the Marine Corps. No.
All Army?
Army. Carter was Navy.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. I think most of it was Army.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Chesty Puller would have been a great president. You know who that is? He was in the Marine Corps.
What years?
Way back.
when?
Chesty Puller.
Chesty Puller.
Hey, now
you sing to him in boot camp at night before you go to sleep.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Okay.
Somewhere in the cavalry, right?
Huh? Roosevelt? Was he in the cavalry?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know Sherman Potter was in the cavalry.
Sherman T. Potter.
Yes.
Sherman T. Potter. Now be careful. It's cavalry, not Calvary.
Cavalry, yeah.
Calvary was where Jesus went.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jesus went there. That's cavalry. For sure.
Yeah, cavalry.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Rob, it has been such an honor to have you with us tonight.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for being here. We want to thank Andy. We want to thank all of our listeners for being with us during this episode. And please don't forget to comment, share this podcast with your friends. If this episode really meant something to you, make sure you let us know. Send us a message on our 2 Daves podcast Facebook page or Instagram page. We'd be happy to talk with you.
I think before I close my part out, I wanted to ask Rob, was there anything that you wanted to say?
If you wanted to do a part 2 sometime, I guess I'd be willing to come back. I've got many, many more stories.
That'd be awesome.
That was really good.
You haven't heard about the Lopper yet?
No.
So next time.
Okay.
Next time we'll do it.
That would be good. That'd be great. Hey, until next time, we hope that you spread the word like Dave said. And remember this, 2 Daves are always better than one.
Peace out.